in saying that what we have set forth and what we believe is going to work isn't going to work. We've already deemed that it's going to fail because it is going to continue to get worse before it gets better. So knowing those things, we just have to know that. You know what I mean? So our price is going to keep going down. Well, when I look at that number of foreclosures and what on earth they're going to do between now and then and the number of shadow inventory that aren't on the market, it leaves a big wide open space that who knows how far it could go down. I mean, potentially it could drop another 40% if everything hit the market at once. We don't know that. We don't know what's going to happen. So we could project what's going to happen. We can look at patterns. However, at the end of the day, we've got to know something of what's going on besides our own little bubble. So maybe that'll help a little bit with what to do in those situations. So housing values are not expected to hit back to peak pricing as in 2004, 2005, 2006 until 2035 is what's projected for the Las Vegas market. Unfortunately for us, we have the worst recovery that anybody has, in my personal opinion, and not just based on the numbers and statistics and people saying that we're #1 and 1 in 25 homes are in foreclosure. It's, as I mentioned before, there is a lack of community. People are not invested in being here. I'll tell you, we're operating now out of Arizona as well, and you look at the people, it is night and day. They want to be there, they're fighting for their community. Here, people, it's just a different attitude. So the people who aren't vested in the Las Vegas community will leave the Las Vegas community, and the people who are going to stay, and there's more that we have to work through as far as socially on top of the money issues. Does that make sense? Because people aren't vested. We see it all the time. You see their their bank statements. I know they can pay. So it really doesn't matter if I modify their loan. Because even if I get them a $200 a month payment, if they don't have value in paying, they don't have value in paying. And it's just time for some people to rent and figure that out. So that's what people have to answer and get to. So we've got a lot to work through and get to our bottom. As we saw over the past couple months, unemployment is still climbing, so we're not seeing anything that would show a need for a raise in housing prices. However, we do show many indicators that show a need for a decline, and we just have to know that. You know, and also the factors that could cause a redecline, such as the people who bought in 2009 thinking they got a good deal, who are now beginning to see a loss in values as well. So there's just an open door for things that can still potentially happen. So the current affairs, so right now there's a lot of different issues going on. I mean, who's a little bit kind of a little flustered with all the different things that are happening? You know, there's a lot of stuff to keep up with, and even though that's what I do, I'm like, okay, so these people won't buy this back, and we've got a moratorium over here, okay, and then we got these results, and there's a lot that's happening. So it's important to know the current affairs, be able to dissect them a little bit. So the big banks not buying back the bad loans sold to Fannie and Freddie, who would be happy if they never heard one more bit of news ever in their lifetime about Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, or ever heard their names again? You know what I mean? That would be a great day to never hear about those two institutions. Again, because there's so many opinions.